welcome to the Giraffe Social Media Podcast. It's what social media managers are talking about. I'm Caitlin McKenzie, and today I'm joined by some awesome members of the Giraffe team. We've got Senior Social Media Manager, Dom.
Hello.
New Business Manager, Robin.
Hello.
And Managing Director, Phil.
Hi.
So, we thought we'd jump into your ears this week with a nice fun coffee break episode to help you get into the festive spirit. As always, our coffee break podcasts, we always bring a topic each to the table that we want to have a chat about and get each other's thoughts on, over a beverage, of course. So, to kick us off, I have got a question for the team. So, guys, what is your most memorable Christmas present that you've ever received? Phil, what's yours?
Mine's a really easy one because it's hands down the best Christmas present I've ever got. And it was that one year Leah surprised me with tickets to go to Chicago and see a Chicago Bulls game. Anyone who knows me knows that I'm a diehard Chicago Bulls fan. And I'd never ever seen them live. So yeah, I thought it was a joke at first, but literally about 2 weeks after Christmas, we flew to Chicago and went to go see a game, and it was like the best thing ever.
Wow.
That's amazing.
I thought you meant Chicago the musical.
Me too.
Yeah, that would be a close second.
And then you were like, to see, and I was like, Chicago the musical, duh.
Yeah.
Oh,
It was the most surreal experience because obviously I'd watched hundreds and hundreds of games before online, and then suddenly I was like there in the place that I'd only ever seen on TV. You know, it was amazing.
Okay, that is
They lost, but
but at least you were there to see it.
You can't have everything, yeah.
There is that.
I had one of those big foam fingers and a hot dog and stuff, so I did the whole experience.
That's good. Very like bucket list ticked off. That's
Yeah,
very
definitely.
memorable. Mine was probably a completely different like scale, but it's just the most memorable one. When I was thinking of this question, I was like, what was my most memorable? And I think it was probably the year I was like 11 or 12 years old, and I basically got to go and pick out one of my own Christmas presents. So my parents like, what do you want? What kind of game do you want? I was like a little mini gamer at the time, and I just really wanted The Sims. The Sims had come out for the computer, and I just wanted it bad. And it was like a big present to ask for. And I'd like been walking past it in HMV for weeks, and I was like, it's happening. And then we got it, and then I got to unwrap it on Christmas Day, and went like running to put it into I was staying with my granny for Christmas, into her computer, and her computer was like from a different era, so it didn't work. It didn't work at all. It was just like massive error messages, but I didn't even care because I had The Sims, and I just would like sit with the little book and like read the little manual that came in it, and just be very, very happy with my present. And like when I think of that game now, I'm just like, good times.
Aww, wholesome.
Do you still play The Sims now?
I cannot confirm or deny.
Leah is a diehard Sims fan. She plays it all the time. She loves it.
So good.
Yeah.
So good. I haven't played it so much. Like I used to love playing it like during uni and stuff like that. I would play Sims University to procrastinate my real university, which was probably better. But I haven't played it as much this year. I think because we spend so much time on the computer, I kind of find it hard to get like do leisure there as well. But anyway, not to depress the tone. Tom, what's your most memorable?
Yeah, no, if I'm honest, I can't think of like one particular present that has been like the best, you know. I tend to I was that kid that would just look through the Argos catalogue and be like, I want that. You know what I mean? But no, if I can think of like the most memorable Christmas in terms of presents, and it was the year that I was literally obsessed with The Simpsons. And I was like collecting like the magazines and just loads of like toys. And I literally just asked for everything Simpsons, anything, literally anything. So I got like all different just like different toys, some sort of Simpsons books, like Simpsons pillows, and just anything. And the funny thing is, I didn't even open them because I was collecting them. So they just stayed in their packaging, and I'll just look at them basically. But
That's so
and
cute.
to be fair, that phase like went away really quickly. So it was a waste of. If you think about it was actually a waste of a Christmas. No idea what they are now, but you know, that's my most memorable, I'd say, in terms of presents. Yeah.
I remember a friend of mine was like, he wanted to. This was when he was a kid. He wanted to paint a full-size Snorlax on his wardrobe, like from Pokemon. And his mum was like, "Are you sure? Because this could just be a phase." And he was like, "No, I'm really sure." And then when I was around his house when he was like 19, there was just a huge Snorlax on his wardrobe.
Oh, that's so funny. So you still into Simpsons, Dom, or is that just completely gone?
No, it's completely gone. Like, I don't even watch it anymore. I haven't watched it for years. Can't remember the last time I watched an episode. I had quite a lot of the magazines as well, like the comic books.
I didn't even know they did magazines.
They're really cool.
You went in deep.
Really cool.
This is a whole new world for me.
Robin looks unenthused. Are you not a Simpsons fan?
I've never seen an episode of The Simpsons in my life, ever.
Wow.
Just never seen it. I know.
How is that possible?
My parents were quite. Well, I was going to say, Mum, don't listen, but I don't think she'll be listening anyway. But they were quite strict with what we watched on the TV. Like, never watched EastEnders or like anything that was like, not that Simpsons and EastEnders are very similar, but anything that was like remotely rude, or like I wasn't allowed to watch Tracy Beaker because I remember my mum heard her say "bog off" once, and she was like, "You're not watching that." So The Simpsons was the same. Like, it was just a bit rude, and my parents were like, "Oh, you're not watching it," but we watched like things that were just very innocent and very wholesome. And I remember I went to secondary school and I was like, what the hell is this world of like swearing? Because I just had been so sheltered. God, I went off on a tangent there, but yeah, never seen
I love that. I'd love to take that further down the tangent and tell you guys that I met Tracy Beaker on my like 19th birthday. She was in a musical and I met her at the stage door, and I think we sang maybe or might not have sung the Tracy Beaker theme tune to her. Again, cannot confirm or deny any more embarrassing stuff on this, but she was into it.
Loves it.
Yeah, she was bang into it for sure. But anyway, Robin, what was your most memorable Christmas present?
I reckon I was like 11 or 12, because it was when everyone was getting laptops. Do you remember, like, you first went to secondary school and people were starting to get their own laptops instead of using like their family computers? And I was like desperate for a laptop. I remember I used our like family computer to make a PowerPoint on why my parents should buy me a laptop. I made a presentation and presented it to them. And my mum was like, you know, your Christmas present you're going to love this year. Like, you're going to have it for the rest of your life. Take it to university with you. So I was like, yes, it's going to be a laptop. Like, the time has come. Got the Christmas morning and the box was huge. And I was like, wow, is it like 7 laptops? This is amazing. I opened it and it was a duvet set and a matching blanket.
Oh, no.
And she was like, but it's so cute, it's got pom-poms and tassels, and like, she thought it was the best thing ever. And I remember like my face, I was so disappointed, because I was convinced that she like bigged it up so much that I was going to be able to take it to university and like have it there for the rest of my life. And it was a bloody, oh sorry, am I not allowed to swear? It was a blanket, not a laptop. Very ungrateful.
That's so memorable for very different reasons. That was you poor thing. I think we've definitely all had that, and that is such a. I think we'll get on to talking about like Christmas traditions later, but spoiler, that face, right? That face that you all pull, like, oh my goodness, thank you so much, and you hate it so much, and you're like just furious that it was even purchased. Like, do you not know me at all?
Yeah, like, oh my god.
Oh,
like linked Africa. Oh, again, thank you.
Another pair of socks. Fantastic. Thank you so thoughtful. I do have feet.
Mine over the last sort of 4 or 5 years has been beard oil or beard sets. I get a lot of beard-based products for Christmas these days.
I used to have no shame. I wouldn't even like try and fake it. I remember the blanket incident. I asked if she had the receipt.
You said you're about 11 or 12.
I was quite like a sassy teenager, but I had no shame. I was just like, this is not what we discussed. Like, obviously now I'm much more grateful for anything. And to be honest, if I was to get socks now, I would be so grateful, because I wouldn't have to buy them myself, so I'd love it. But yeah.
That's the only time that I get my socks and pants, is that once a year, Christmas Day. Yeah, I love it now.
Oh man. So let's get into it. Phil, what was the thing you wanted to talk about on the coffee break today?
I want to talk about the Christmas food shop. I have memories of this as a kid. Perhaps I'd been at work or at school, and I would come home, open the fridge, and my mum would have been out and done the Christmas food shop, and it would just be overflowing with Christmas goodies, chocolates, Baileys, cheeses, just everything that you could possibly want at Christmas. And our food shop turned up yesterday, and it was just everything I dreamed of.
Must have been like
Lots of
Santa
wines
arriving.
and cheeses, and so good. The only problem with it is trying to make it last over the Christmas period.
Does anyone
time it?
Does anyone buy like the chocolates way in advance and then like Quality Street or celebrations, but then end up actually eating it before Christmas, and then you have to wait, I've got to go buy some more now. I'm like,
yeah, definitely. And I think you just have to duplicate, you have to double up. But then I suppose the problem with that is then you have twice as much to eat in advance. So yeah, I think it needs to be a phased attack with Christmas treats.
What's your go-to cheese?
I mean, I'm actually dairy free, so I'm gonna say Applewood. There's a vegan Applewood cheddar. I was about to like throw shade in there. I was like, oh, actually, no, I am obsessed with the cheese. I'm gonna be very quiet. Yeah, there's a vegan Applewood cheddar, which is delicious. That is my cheese of choice, and that's as exciting as it gets for me. But I never liked smelly cheeses before. But I feel like from Phil's face, he's a big smelly cheese person.
Well, not so much. Like Leah is hugely into cheese, so over the years I think I've got more into it. But brie for sure. We get those those like little part baked baguettes you can get. You would get those, and you cut them open, you put brie in it, and then you bake them in the oven, and you just get this like amazingly cheesy, crispy baguettes. That's the best thing ever.
Yeah,
bit of cranberry.
Totally agree. Oh, totally agree.
Are you a cheesy person, Robin?
I like a gorgonzola. Bit of a risky choice. I also saw in the supermarket this year a camzola, which is a blend of gorgonzola and camembert. I don't know whether this is like a new hybrid that people knew about, but I did the food shop over the weekend, Phil. Actually, to be fair, we did 2 attacks of the food shop. We did it in because we wanted to go to Aldi for some of the cheaper like veggie bits, and then Sainsbury's for the branded stuff like the Terry's chocolate orange and Toblerone, those kind of things. So we like did it in 2 halves. Both had a great selection of cheese. Would recommend Sainsbury's cheese. I got some Camzola. I got some brie. What else do we get? Lots of biscuits. Yeah, it is stressful though, the shop, and like timing it in the day and timing it in the run up so that everything lasts until Christmas, I think.
Especially this year, my goodness, like with limited numbers in the shops and stuff. I was in like a Morrison's this weekend, not even doing a Christmas shop. I went in just for wrapping paper and came out with like a whole bunch of stuff. But I think I just panicked, picked things up off the shelves. I was like, well, what if they don't have crackers? Like, next time I hear. So I just sort of panicked, but it was very busy and people quite frantic. I don't know if you experienced that, Robin, when you were out and about.
I saw 2 ladies fight over a turkey.
Yeah.
Like it was like something out of a movie. There was, because I think so Tier 4 was announced on Saturday night, and we went first thing Sunday morning, and on the shelves of the turkeys they've got like the extra small ones on the top shelf, and then they go all the way down to like the extra large ones for like 75 people, and obviously all the small ones people were grabbing because I assume they were then spending Christmas like with smaller people, with smaller households or whatever. And there was one small turkey left, so I like grabbed it at the end of the aisle. And then on the actual aisle itself, there was I think 1 extra small and 1 small. And these 2 ladies like both went for it like something out of the film. I was like singing it like a movie soundtrack in my head to the drama, and then they like both grabbed it, and then it was sort of all kicked off. Mark was like, come on, Robin, they're making a scene, like, let's move away. And I was like, wanted to plug up the aisle to watch drama unfold. But yeah, it was very busy, very, very busy.
I can't believe how expensive turkeys are. I don't think I've ever had to purchase a turkey before in my life, but I was in the till. I remember in the till this weekend, there was a woman, she had this gigantic turkey and it had £3 on it. And I was like, do you know what? That's quite reasonable. And then I looked closer and it was like per kilogram. It was actually like a £40 turkey. Expensive stuff. I do very much enjoy being part of the Christmas shop when you sort of pop back to the nest, when it's maybe not you at the checkout who has to pick it up, but you just get to like swan around Tesco's. Oh, I think we need these. We need some after eights. Like, let's get some twiglets.
Don't you think turkey? Oh, sorry, Phil.
Go on, Dom.
Don't you think turkey is a little bit overrated though?
I see jokes about this every year. People are like, why do we wait this special day of a year to have like the most mediocre poultry?
It is. Personally, I'd be happy just, a bit of chicken, bit of gammon.
I was going to say, I think for me, gammon is the Christmas savior, because my mum always does way too much, and then I'm eating sort of like BLT sandwiches with gammon for like the few days afterwards, and it's just that's Christmas for me.
Yeah,
I like it when we have like beef as well, and I think I really enjoy the hybrid Boxing Day sandwiches, because you have to cook too much so that there's enough for sandwiches for like a week, right? That's the law.
This is the downfall of my birthday, because my birthday is actually Boxing Day. So my whole life, my birthday meal has always been cold meat and pickles.
Are you mad about that though? Because I feel like that's a top tier meal.
When I was a kid, I really didn't like it, but now, yeah, I'm actually a big fan. Although when I was 1 and 2, because my parents were worried about me being too excited about having Christmas and birthday back to back, they'd give me a fake birthday in July. True story.
Conventional.
So that I don't think they felt I could handle that level of excitement compressed into just 48 hours.
How did you celebrate your fake birthday? Like, did you have a party? Did people know?
Yeah, like a normal, like. Well, I mean, it was only when I was 1 and 2, I think. So I don't know if I would have had a party with like. Didn't really have many friends at that age.
I wasn't sure if this is something that carried on like throughout your teens, and you were like, "It's my birthday."
He's got several birthdays.
I wish it did, because every birthday is, I get presents wrapped in Christmas paper, or I don't get a birthday present because I got a Christmas present, and they sort of make it a joint thing. Or,
yikes!
Yeah.
You need to enforce that. You need to bring back the fake birthday. Like, yeah,
Leah's pretty good about it. She always separates it out, but other people, like, I'm not going to name names, but like someone like Kane, maybe.
Oh, that's funny. Well, so who's up next? Dom, do you want to hit us with your talking point?
Yeah, I want to talk about like what are your guys' Christmas traditions, if you have any. For me, it's more of like the morning is more like quite traditional for us, like where all the presents are laid out in our front room, and we all have certain places that we all sit every single year. So yeah, like me and my sister will be on the sofa, then my other sister will be on another sofa, my older brother will be sat on the floor, is the unlucky one, and then my mum will be sat just on the couch, and we'd all have our like Christmas presents laid out. We obviously wait for everyone to wake up. I've noticed the older I get, I'm the one that seems to be up earliest for some reason compared to everyone else, which I don't know if that's sad or not, but anyway. Yeah, and then we'll all obviously open it at the same time, and then after that we'll have our Christmas breakfast meal, which is Cambry with brie and bacon toasty, so it's all very nice. So and then obviously after that we'll go on our day for like your standard Christmas dinner and stuff like that, and then it's mostly quite chilled. But yeah, that's how we sort of plan our day out.
This is a great talking point. I love hearing everybody's different like routines. Mine in my family, I've definitely taken advantage of I'm an only child, so there's nobody to wake me up early on Christmas. Like, I'm the instigator, so I take advantage of the lion. My parents take advantage of the lion, but I still am like the first one up, like sort of running around like a small child. So we get up, we do the presents. Usually, like, I have lots of like small cousins, so in other circumstances we would be spending it together. And nowadays there are smaller people than me, which is pros and cons. But then we do the presents kind of first thing, and it's like a free-for-all thing. Although I was trying to enforce it, like, because you spend so much time planning and buying the right presents, right? And money goes into it, and then everyone opens their presents at the same time. You blink and everything's like everywhere, and I'm like, well, you didn't get to see my fake happy face about my socks. And I didn't know if you like that thing I got you. I don't know. So when it's like mostly adults, I'm like, I'm really boring, and like I'm like a Monica Geller and try and make people do it like one by one. We have breakfast. We do scrambled eggs and smoked salmon with Bucks Fizz, which I just thought everyone had. So I'm very shook by your toasties, but also intrigued. I like that. And then we try to do something like maybe like go for a walk, or this year me and my family have went to paddleboarding, so I'm going to try and encourage a festive paddleboard. I feel like that would be good fun, great for the gram. And yeah, then I guess it will just be back to the house, and you sort of potter about, don't you? I don't know where the middle section of Christmas Day goes. Somebody's cooking a dinner, and like, you're just drinking and eating things, and And then everyone's asleep by 7 p.m. in my house anyway. How about you, Robin? What's your Christmas day look like?
My parents split up when I was 11, so I've alternated between my dad's house and my mum's house since then. So it very much varies, I suppose, whose we're at, because both my parents do things quite differently. But I suppose along the same lines, it's always like a bit of a smoked salmon, scrambled egg vibe in the morning, presents somewhere in there, a walk, no doubt, at some point, lunch, sprouts. Both my parents are obsessed with sprouts. Like, what's that all about?
Rightly
I have to
so.
sort of, what? Oh, I'm not getting
I'm
into this,
sorry.
Caitlin.
Big sprout fan. Quick whip round. Phil, sprouts or no sprouts?
Definitely sprouts.
Dom, sprouts or no sprouts?
Sprouts, I love them.
Okay, you're on your own, Robin. Continue.
God, I tried doing a different recipe. I tried like frying them with pancetta and onions to try and make them a bit more bearable. Still unbearable. I don't know what it is about sprouts that's just so offensive to me, but sprouts are included, and then TV and chocolate and, you know, how the rest of the evening goes.
How about you, Phil?
Yeah, I mean, it's weird because obviously living with Leah, like we've sort of started to form our own traditions. I mean, as a kid, it sounds very similar to you guys. I mean, and we've sort of continued it, but, you know, we'll have a glass of Bucks Fizz. We don't really have breakfast. We sort of eat chocolate on Christmas morning. Like, that's sort of the day of the year where you get to eat chocolate for breakfast. So we might have like I think last year we had some pastries or something. But yeah, just like open all the presents. We always sort of joke in our family about who's going to be Santa, sort of like who's going to sit by the tree and sort of like hand out the presents. I think the biggest like difference that I noticed between like my family and Leah's family is that I'm like you, Caitlin, in the sense that if I'm going to buy you a gift, I want to give it to you and then sit and watch you open it intensely.
Absolutely. That's what makes it fun.
I want to make it as awkward as possible for you. Yeah. Whereas like Leah's family would give their gifts to each other on Christmas Eve and then like open them in different households like separately, which I just, when I found that out, I was just like, that's crazy. How can you, how can you do it that way? But then Leah's had to get used to me giving her gifts and then, yeah, just being silently, intensely staring at her while she opens them.
That's really, I love like when families, well, I say I love it, like, you know, when, you know, families come together like that and you sort of pick up on each other's traditions, because I mean, we all tend to do things a little bit differently by the sounds of us. And I know, like, say someone marries into the family and like they come around and like they do something and it just like goes against the grain, and I wouldn't say Christmas is ruined, but you're just like, they're not our people. No, I'm joking, I'm being very dramatic. But, nothing like Christmas to bring out the worst in people.
I remember buying a present for a member of Leah's family, and I was like really excited about it. I was like, I put loads of thought into it. I was like, I really can't wait to watch them open that. And she's like, oh, you won't see them open it. I was like, what? Well, what was the point of me taking all this time to buy it for them then? It's quite selfish, really, when I think about it.
I think presents need to be like the first thing you open in the morning. I think that's just should be the first thing you do. That's the thing that you're most looking forward to in Christmas.
But then some people
it's not family, it's presents.
Yeah,
I'm joking.
Hot take from Dom.
You hear of people who are like still opening presents on Boxing Day, and you're like, how have you like got that much self-restraint? It's crazy.
Absolutely. They're the kind of people that don't open the Quality Street until Christmas Day. And they're the kind of people I don't want to be associated with. Oh, that's funny. I do know people that like to do it in the afternoon, or you get like one in the morning. We sometimes have like what we get to open one the night before occasionally, but usually only if it's pajamas. Do you guys have that too?
I feel like I really had the best of both worlds, because I always had like at least 2 Christmases. I'd always have one Christmas on like Christmas Eve and then another one Christmas Day or Boxing Day. So I kind of got presents sort of like spread out amongst sort of along the Christmas period. But I was so like desperate to open things. We would get one on Christmas Eve, same as my brother's birthday's 5 days before my birthday. So I would get to open a present for myself on his birthday because I would be so excited about presents. I would have to just be shut up and have a present myself. So we would have to be like drip fed throughout the Christmas day, sort of like a present every hour just to keep us quiet.
Just keep you going. Yeah. That's so entertaining. Well, the thing I wanted to talk about today, I can edit this out. Fire away, Dom.
Are you the type of person, Robin, that when it's your birthday or when it's somebody else's birthday, you have to also blow out the candles?
Yeah, there were definitely videos of me like as a kid like scrambling over the table at birthday parties, like getting to the candles. Yeah.
Have you guys seen that really iconic video? I don't remember what platform I've seen it on, but it's of like two little kids blowing out Christmas birthday candles, and like one girl blows out her little sisters, and it's just the most intense video I've ever seen on the internet. None of you have seen it.
I
I've never
didn't think
seen
I've seen it. Was it me?
Possibly. Well, the talking point I wanted to bring today was obviously the center of all of our universe, especially this year more than most. Well, no, the other years too. TV. Like, what are you guys watching at the minute? Like, what are you gonna watch to get you through Christmas, the Christmas period? Because obviously, like, everyone watches like the Christmas specials on Christmas Day, or maybe a movie. I'm more interested in like, what do you watch on the 27th? You know, when you haven't been out of your pajamas for days, like, what keeps you sane? I know in the past we've done like Star Wars movie marathons. Highly recommend. That's quite a fun way to lose a couple of days. But there is a series I'm watching at the minute, which I would really recommend and think it would make such nice pajama day viewing. Is His Dark Materials. Have any of you guys watched it?
I watched
we
like,
watched
parts.
Oh. Go for it, Robin.
No, I was just gonna say I watched parts of it whilst like my friends have been watching it, but I
Sure.
wouldn't know the storyline.
How about you, Phil? Do you say you've seen some?
I think because the first series came out sort of this time last year, didn't it? I think me and Leah watched like a couple of episodes and just didn't really like. I don't know if we weren't paying enough attention to it, but like just didn't really get into it. But we've
Sure.
said we would like to come back to it at some point.
Do you know what? I'd say it's well worth it. I mean, I recently like had a little period of illness, so I listened to all of the audiobooks. So maybe I speaking from a place of bias and that I just like know the storyline so well and really like it. But it's just really good watching, and the storyline is great. And it's one of those series that you have to get to like the last book or like series 3 and everything like falls into place and you're like, wow, so clever. Which maybe you shouldn't. I also am of the opinion that you probably shouldn't have to work that hard, but it is very enjoyable in the meantime. It's a really nice like sort of alternate world, well, a bunch of alternate worlds actually. Yeah, so really recommend. And there's now 2 series of it on the BBC, I want to say. I'm sure you can get it. I think it's iPlayer. So yeah, if you do want something to like get your teeth into, it's just very enjoyable. There's some themes, there's some underlying like messages, which I dig. Yeah, so that is like my recommendation. What are you guys going to be watching around the next week or so? How about you, Phil?
Well, I have to give an honourable mention to The Mandalorian on Disney Plus. I've just finished watching series 2 of that, and the end of it is insanely good. So definitely watch that if you haven't watched that. But I've been using this year to try and sort of catch up on shows that I've wanted to watch for a long time, but just they're so dauntingly long that I've always sort of put them off. The one I'm watching at the moment is The Sopranos, and I'm now in the final season of it, and it's just amazing. So I think it's one of the best TV shows ever made.
Wow.
I just really, really love it. So I definitely recommend, if you've never got around to watching The Sopranos, to definitely make the time.
What kind of watching is it? Is it like you have to be like paying attention? Is it quite storyline or?
It's sort of like it's obviously it's about gangsters, but it's like a drama. It's almost like a soap, like a soap drama, but about gangsters, because the main character, Tony Soprano, is sort of the head of this mafia family in New York, but he's also a dad and a husband, and he's suffering from panic attacks. So he's like going to a therapist, and it sort of shows you both sides of what's going on. It's very interesting, and yeah, it's pretty gory and gruesome in places, but I've really enjoyed it. I'd also like to give one shout out to a program called Devs. That's a really obscure little show that I haven't really seen many people talking about, but again, I think it's iPlayer, but it's I don't even know how to describe it. It's this crazy little show that just, it's amazing. I don't want to tell you anything about it because I
Yeah.
but it's just epic. It's just so clever and beautifully shot and just so original and unique. Yeah, if you've got the time, definitely watch it and stick with it because it's a bit slow at the beginning, but it's probably, yeah, it's up there. I think probably one of the best things I've watched this year.
Oh wow. Okay, we'll have to go check out a trailer or something. How about you, Dom? Is there anything on your watch list or something you think has to be on ours?
Well, I'm currently watching a series called The Last Kingdom on Netflix. This is like 4 seasons, like 8 episodes per season, and they're like an hour long each episode. I think I'm literally in the I'm already on season 3, so it took me about 4 days to watch it. So I've literally powered through, and it's just I personally think it's really good. It's just like based in like the medieval sort of period. That's all about like just a lot of wars and battles and all that sort of things, which I love. So it's really good. It's all like the Vikings and Saxons, Vikings coming over to England. Well, it wasn't England then, but you know, it's just really good. It's really good. It's good storyline. If you're into that sort of thing, I definitely recommend. If you're not, then I don't recommend. But I'll probably be finishing that off.
No, nice. How about you, Robin?
This time of year, I always get a Radio Times. I don't know if anyone else does that, but I get a Radio Times and a red pen, and I circle all the things that I want to watch. But I haven't really noticed very many Christmas specials this year. Maybe because they haven't been able to film any. So I've like got my circles. I've circled some stuff that is like an old classic. So there's like the Gavin and Stacey Christmas specials in there. I think there might be a Call the Midwife. So I'll look forward to those. But in terms, I feel like I need to mention a series now that I'm watching, seeing as everyone else is watching something. But we started watching Fortitude. Has anyone seen Fortitude?
Oh yes, years ago. This a little bit old, right? Like a couple of years old.
Oh, I don't know.
Has it got the old Doctor Who in it? Christopher Eccleston.
Yeah, but he doesn't last long. Well, no one in it really lasts very long.
Spoiler alert, jeez.
Well, I think that's like episode 1, isn't it?
Yeah. I think if you ever watch it, you'll know what I mean by no one lasts very long. But it's really good. We've just finished it, to be fair. Pretty savage. I'm not very good with anything that's like gory or gruesome, so I have to mute it and like look away. So what I do is I look at whoever I'm with and I watch their facial expressions to tell me what's happening. So I'll like look away and look at Mark, and if he's going then I know that something like really bad's happening, because otherwise I will vomit. If I see like someone's eyes being gouged out, I will literally chunder. So it's been quite good other than that. But I'm definitely looking forward to Call the Midwife for a nice break.
Very, very different vibe. Yeah, I can second Fortitude actually. There's a couple of series. I got tricked into it because I thought I was watching like a drama. Not a drama. Well, it's dramatic, but like other themes, other categories there. But it's worth watching it. I think it's very clever, like story, if I remember, isn't it? Like, well,
yeah, it is. It's one of those things where it starts off like quite believable. You're like, this potentially could happen. Like, yeah, I kind of buy it. And then I think they just get a bit carried away. And then by the last series, it's just completely ridiculous. But yeah, it's still good. It's immersive, I suppose.
Sounds like Lost. If any of you guys watched Lost, that just
Lost is like my favorite TV show of all time.
I mean, it was great by the end.
Yeah, no, by the end, I completely agree with you. But it was like, what is even happening at this point?
Yeah, literally. I remember when they climbed down into the bunker, and you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, there's craziest stuff, and that happens at some point. The island moves, like it's crazy, but amazing. I love that. I have a real soft spot for Lost.
I found that with The Walking Dead, like it was really good up until like maybe the 6, 7, and then it just, I don't know. I think it was sort of like the same storyline every time, if you know what I mean. And I just got sort of, I can tell by your face that you're very disappointed.
I totally agree, Don.
Okay, I'll just go. It's fine.
I thought the first few series of Walking Dead are amazing. And then, by about the 4th or 5th, I was like, oh my God. I'm depressed.
Do you know what really annoyed me about Walking Dead is Rick Grimes' hat. How did that stay in one piece? I don't. This is what is so unrealistic. I mean, zombies kind of unrealistic, maybe. But how did the hat last that long? Like, how did Carl have the hat like literally 10 years later? I do
There
not
are a
understand.
few things like that, and you're like,
Mhm.
okay, so that person's just got a brand new pair of cowboy boots. Where'd you get them in the middle of
Yeah.
the apocalypse?
Or
But
like, how does all the cars have petrol? Hmm?
still, yeah, another
Mm.
very good point. Oh, I love The Walking Dead, but I have watched it all since June. So I'm very like, you know, you're just too in something to tell if it's good anymore. You just know it's part of your life. So yeah, that's definitely where I'm at with that. I think I had to watch it this year just for perspective. Like, okay, there's a pandemic, but at least we're not eating each other in the streets. Like, this is a win.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
we can. Oh, great. Still a few days of 2020 left. Who knows
Yeah,
what
give
could
it
come our
time.
way?
Give it time.
Speaking of 2020, Robin, what did you want to talk about? I think it's on theme.
Yeah, I thought something good to talk about. Like you said, a bit of perspective. I read something on Instagram over the weekend. So we're in tier 4 for the listeners who want to know. I'm in tier 4 and so's Dom, and then you two aren't in tier 4. But we got put in tier 4, which means you can't mingle with any other households over Christmas, which was a bit of a blow, I think, for people like me, who I was really looking forward to spending time with my family over Christmas. And I was all doom and gloom, like, this state of the world, and like, this is so rubbish for everyone. And I read something on Instagram that was a bit of a shift in perspective, in at least and it was like listing all the things to be happy about and to be positive for, you know what I'm trying to say, rather than like looking at the negative. And it was like, at least you have a house, and at least you have money to buy food, and you know. And then it sort of made me think, like, I have a house, I have a turkey, I've got Netflix, like I'm trying. And then it made me shift my perspective, and I decided to have an attitude of gratitude. So now I'm trying to like think of all the positives in the situation, and like, yes, it's a bit pants, but Christmas is only one day, and like, I'm just going to make next Christmas 10 times better, and maybe have like a Christmas lunch in the middle of April or whenever it is that we're allowed to. But I just thought, like, because I've been seeing quite a lot on social media that's quite doom and gloom. I don't know whether you guys have been seeing that, but it's very much like, you know, F the government, and like, let's just, this is ridiculous. And it's kind of like, it is, but it, like, no one's denying that it's not absolutely rubbish, but like, we need to find a way of looking at it in a positive light. Otherwise, we're all just going to cry until we're allowed to hug again. So yeah, I thought, I'm trying to find stuff on social media that's positive. I don't know if anyone else has seen anything that's like a ray of hope in tier 4 dark vibes.
I actually saw a tweet thread which I really liked this week. I'm really lucky. I currently live with my parents, and so I get to spend it with them, which is really good. And we do have extended family, but we've sort of decided to just stay in our own areas because we are quite spread out over Scotland, so where I temporarily live. So we've decided to like, so it kind of feels like we're in like tier 4. We're not doing anything. Well, we haven't done anything for months. I just completely what's the word? A recluse? I don't know. Let's move on. But I saw a tweet that I really liked, and it was somebody giving advice for people spending Christmas on their own for the first time. And it was I can't remember the Twitter user, but they basically were saying, make sure you have like structure, like just really like useful tips. So like, make a little plan for yourself, like find exciting things. So whether you have a bubble bath, like what's the most bananas thing you could have for breakfast, like buy that. Like, what's something you would love to have for dinner, like is it a giant platter of sushi which you'd never usually splurge for yourself, like buy it. Just like be like decadent, like take yourself for a walk, watch like your favorite movie and stuff, just like make a little structure. And I just thought, you know what, that's so nice. And a little part of me was like, that sounds lovely. And then I was like, oh, I'd love to do that. And then I was like, perspective, Caitlin, perspective. But
Yeah.
that was
I
quite
think
a
it's
thing to
about
see.
making the best of the situation. Like, I live with my boyfriend, so it's just the two of us, and his mum lives in Spain. She was meant to be coming over. We haven't seen her all year. She wasn't able to come, and I can't see my parents and our siblings. And, you know, I sort of was in this mindset of like doom and gloom. This is horrendous. And then I was like, epiphany moment. Like, we can have everything that we want. We're in charge of our like mindset. So I went to Sainsbury's and bought every single Toblerone I could get my hands on. And I bought all the chocolate, I bought all the gin, I splurged on everything because I was like, well, I might as well. I've got no one telling me I can't. We'll make our own traditions. And an attitude for gratitude. So yeah, positive vibes.
I love that.
Yeah, me
Great.
too. It's like what you're saying is like perspectives, because like you said, it is just one day. In the long run, it's going to benefit everyone else, and if you're going to keep being negative about it, like just think about what that's going to do to your mental health over this period. It's not good for you. So yeah, just think of the positive. One day it all will be good, we hope. And yeah, and we're lucky these days that we have things like Zoom, Teams, that we can video chat with everyone. So no one's really, we may not be with each other, but no one's really disconnected. You can still connect with people through social. So yeah, it's just a bit of perspective and try and think as positive as you can, really.
Yeah, the thing that's getting me through is imagining that one day I will have kids and I'll be able to yell at them, well, this year we couldn't go anywhere because of the coronavirus. You don't know how lucky you've got it. We're totally going to use this as ammo at some point in the future.
For sure. I love that. And it was just the winter solstice as well. So I saw a really nice tweet today that was like, from now on, like all the days are getting longer. Every single day you have more daylight and more time, and more people get the vaccine every single day. So like things are improving. It feels horrible, but there is now literally light increasing at the end of the tunnel. So yeah, I think guys all said some really cute stuff there. And I don't know, it's just a really like nice moment that we've just made. Go team. Well, I'm gonna take it off that lovely note and move on to feeds to follow, which is a little bonus segment at the each of. So now it's time for feeds to follow, the bonus segment at the end of each coffee break episode where we all recommend a feed that we think you guys should be following. So I'm happy to go first. There is a really great South African comedian who I discovered recently and am obsessed with. I tag people in nonstop. I think I've even tagged Robin in a few of this person's memes. So her name is Elsa Majimbo and her handle is at majimb.o, so her surname, and she is just so funny. Like the way she manages to like put a spin on everything, I'm literally crying with laughter. I think she's the best adopter of reels that I've seen. I mean, she has like 1.5 million followers, so it's not really a hidden a secret. And you probably, if you go and check out her profile and follow her, you'll probably realize that you've seen some of her content before. And I promised myself I wasn't going to try and act out what she did, but she does really funny videos where she's like, oh, I did really want to see you. Yeah, but pandemic. Like, oh, I'd love to come to your house and hear about your problems, but pandemic. Like, she just, I did not do her justice and I'm full of regret. But, super duper funny and yeah, well worth a follow. Robin, how about you? What's the feed do you think we should be following?
Oh, sorry, I have to unmute myself. For me, I have quite a few which I've been really enjoying, and now you're asking me, I've forgotten the name, so maybe we'll just do the other one I was thinking of. But I've been following Simple Politics. I don't know if anyone else follows this, and maybe it's a bit lame, but I find the news quite overwhelming at the moment for some reason. So what I find this Instagram account is they just like give you the snippets, and they give you like the most important bits, and they kind of explain it like in a nutshell, so you don't have to sit and like listen to hours and hours of the news and all the opinions that they give off the back of that. They just give it in like a little snippet, which I think is quite handy and a bit less catastrophizing, which sometimes the news can be. So yeah.
Awesome recommendation. How about you, Phil?
Yeah, mine's an Instagram account called I think it's at History Cool Kids.
Love it already.
as I'm getting older, I'm finding I have a lot more interest in history. I never used to when I was a kid. And yeah, this Instagram account's great because it's kind of images and videos from history, but they're always sort of little nuggets of like really unknown corners of history, like really interesting, obscure parts of history. And yeah, I just find them always really interesting. And when I see them, I always sort of stop. It stops my scroll, and I'll read the little snippet and look at the picture and watch the video and stuff. And it's yeah, I just find it finds. We talked about perspective a minute ago. I think sometimes like looking back at little moments of history and stuff can really provide your own perspective on just how lucky we are to live in this age, even with things like the pandemic happening. You know, if this happened 60 years ago, like it looks a lot worse, you know. So yeah, I definitely recommend it as a fun little history lesson per day.
Love that. How about you, Dom?
Yeah, so mine's on TikTok, and I hope I pronounce this right. It's like Augie Boys. I'll spell it AUGEY, then boys, but with a Z on the end instead of an S. And basically they just sort of do little TikTok videos, sort of regarding football, really. So if you are a football fan, you'll probably find it quite funny. And they just take the mickey out of, like, you know, VAR, referee decisions, certain footballers who are like maybe not having a really good time in front of goal at the moment and missing their chances. They'll like Timo Werner. So they just take the mickey out of all those sort of things. And they shots fired. But no, they it's not just football. They do like other sort of like classroom sort of memes and teacher memes and other things, but mainly they do football. And yeah, I just find it really funny. I could watch it for ages. So yeah, that's what I recommend.
Amazing. Phil, you made me think of an account which I don't even follow, but their Twitter advertising is just so aggressive that I see it come up and I'm like, I'm not going to read that article. I'm not going to read that article. And then the fifth time they serve me the article about Henry VIII's wives, I'm like, okay, I'll do it. And it's one of those like silly like blog post website articles things where, you know, you're getting served like 100 ads a second, like all around the text, but then I'm interested, like I want to know about Anne of Cleves. So I don't so I can relate a little bit. So I don't know if that means like I'm also getting old. Your words, not mine. But yeah, so maybe follow Factinate. I don't know, or maybe you don't need to, because they'll just find you with their ads now that they've heard us talking about history. Like they can
I'd also throw in one extra that I think, given everything going on with Tier 4, people need a bit of a laugh. I don't know if you've ever heard of Auntie Donna. It's these 3 Australian blokes, and they've now just got they just did like YouTube shows, and then they did live performances in Australia, but they've just got a Netflix show, and it's insane. I don't know how to describe it. They're just 3, like, they're really funny, but it's the most random, silly, sort of crazy thing I've ever seen. I sent it to Chloe, our sort of resident Australian, to see if she was aware of them, but she hadn't heard of them either. But if you're looking for a bit of a laugh, just put Auntie Donna into YouTube and watch some of their sketches. They're really good.
Love that. We will drop all of these recommendations in the show notes as well, so they're really easy to click and find.
I remembered my suggestion. I remembered my recommendation of an Instagram account of the guy called Jules. His Instagram is Jules Von Hep, like Jule. Oh, you're going to put it in the thing. Okay, I'll save mine. And he's just a lovely man. He's a northerner living down south, which is, you know, a guy after my own heart. And he does a segment every week called "What You Having for Tea, Babe?" And he basically asks it on a Thursday and puts it on his Instagram story, and you know, write in the comments like, what you're having for tea the following day. And then he just does, like, I don't know, 20 stories the following day, and he just says what you're having for tea, but like says it really funny, or like does like little spoofs. Honestly, I can't explain it. I think you just have to see it. It's just really, really funny. I look forward to it every week. The way that he just like takes the mick out of the spag bowl. It's just very funny. I would recommend it. Very joyful. He does a few different segments like throughout the week, and very wholesome.
Oh, I love that. Thanks. Well, that is all we've got time for today. Thank you so much for listening. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss our next episode, which will be our year in reviews, which will be a look back at the last 12 months on social media. And that'll be out by Thursday next week, and it will not be one to miss. Very exciting times. You can, of course, also connect with us on all major social channels and let us know what you thought about today's episode. What are your Christmas traditions? Please tell us why we're wrong with ours. We'd love to have a chat about that with you on our pages. We've been Draft Social Media. You've been amazing. We'll see you next time.